All right, so here we are with number 9. So once again, we have parentheses. So the first thing we're going to do is to eliminate those, and we're going to eliminate that by distributing. So we have 7 times 5, which is going to give us 35. And then we have 7 times negative 6a. So we have 7 times negative 6, which is going to give us negative 42. And then we got to bring the a down as well, equals 35 plus 5a. We didn't do anything to the right side, so we just bring it straight down. So now I have 35 minus 42a equals 35 plus 5a. So at this point, we have no like terms on the left and no like terms on the right. So we are going to move our variable over in order to isolate it. So we always got to do the opposite. So we have positive 5a and negative 5a is going to cancel. So now we just do the math. So 35 comes down. And then we have negative 42 minus 5. Let's clear this out. So negative 42 minus 5, which is going to give us negative 47. So we have 35 minus 47a equals 35. So then at this point, if we still want to get a by itself, we're going to have to get rid of the other term before we can do anything to that negative 47. So we're going to have to get rid of the constant, 35. So it's positive 35, so we're going to do negative 35. But what we do to one side, we've got to do to the other. So those cancel out. And then once again, we have a positive 35 and a negative 35. So that's going to give us 0. So we have negative 47a equals 0. Now, at this point, once again, we have negative 47a, so they're being multiplied together. So in order to undo that, we're going to have to divide. And then what's going to happen is those are going to cancel, but what we do to one side, we've got to do to the other. So some people get right here, and they're like, okay, can't divide by 0. But you can't divide by 0, but you can divide from 0. So remember, always punch everything into your calculator because it will always give you the correct answer. So we have 0 divided by negative 47, and so we do get 0. And so we just have to remember that 0 is a number, and we can get 0 for our answer. And in this case, we did, and that would be choice D. All right, so for number 10, once again, we have parentheses. So at this point, we should know we got to distribute. So we get negative 2m minus 14, bring down the 1, negative 1, equals, we didn't do anything to the right side, so we have negative 12 minus 2m. So we have negative 2m minus 14 minus 1. This time we do have like terms in negative 14 and negative 1. They are both constants, so we're going to combine them. So we have negative 2m minus 15 equals, and then we just bring down the right side because we haven't done anything to it. So we have negative 2m minus 15 equals negative 12 minus 2m. Now we need to isolate the variable, so we're going to get this one over. So we're going to add 2m to 2m. So once again, similar to a problem from earlier, our variables are going to cancel out. And so that's the same thing as 0. So really what we have here is we have negative 15 comes down and negative 12 comes down. So once again, we have a statement, except this time, this one says negative 15 equals negative 12, and those are not the same numbers. That is not the same thing. So this would be a false statement. And so since it's a false statement, what that means is nothing will work. There is no solution to the variable. So your answer is going to be A. So just remember, anytime you get a false statement, that it is going to be no solution. All right, so for number 11, we are introducing something a little new on this one. And if you don't notice it, hopefully you do right away. We've added a square. So although we've added a square, the process is still going to be the same. So I'm going to rewrite this. We have m squared plus 4 equals 29. So the process is still the same, guys. If we want to get this m squared, the 2 is with the m. If we want to get that by itself, the first thing we're going to have to do is get rid of that 4. So what the opposite of plus 4 is negative 4. So what we do to one side, we got to do to the other. We're going to cancel those out. So therefore, we do get m squared by itself equals, and then we just do the math, 29 minus 4 is going to give us 25. So the thing that we introduce with squares is we have to undo squares. We have to really get m completely by itself. And in order to do that, we have to do the opposite of a square. And the opposite of a square is a square root. So that symbol looks like that. And so when we do that, we're going to get rid of the square. But what we do to one side, we've got to do to the other. So some people might see this and freak out. But remember, we do have a square root on our calculator, and it will do the math for us. So once we get to that point, we're always just going to enter that into our calculator. So you find that by doing second x squared, you get 25, and then your answer is 5. But we have to remember, because we have a square, both a positive 5 and a negative 5 will give us 25. Because a negative times a negative is going to spit out a positive. So when we get this, we get m equals 5, but it's not only 5, it's also negative 5. So we have our answer in choice A. So once again, for number 12 here, we have x squared plus 8 equals 24. So once again, it is the same. Solve it the same way. We got to get rid of this plus 8 first. So we subtract 8 from both sides. Cancels that out. So now we do get x squared by itself on the left. And we have 24 minus 8, which is going to be 16. So now, once again, in order to get x truly by itself, we've got to get rid of that square. And so we do that by taking the square root. So we go to our calculator, second, x squared, 16, enter, and we get 4. But we don't only get 4, we get 4 and negative 4, which is going to be choice B.